What's going on, all you wild Civil War enthusiasts out there? Your two favorite movie reviewers are back tonight for Cinephellas, and we've got a brand new one to review for you guys. Actually, it's been out in theaters for months now. We had to wait until it came out digitally to finally catch it, but we're glad that we finally were able to watch this and review it for you guys. We're big fans of Alex Garland, and there's a lot of looking forward to this movie for a while, me and you, ever since it was announced. And just going by Alex Garland's previous work, we were really excited. And a great cast and an exciting premise here. We're talking about Alex Garland's Civil War.
One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless America.
That's right. These wild boys are back. We love Alex Garland. Yeah, I think the last movie he put out, Men, was the only weakest film he's put out. But yeah, huge fans of EX-MACHINA, Annihilation. Devs was an incredible series on FX that we had a good time with. And this time around, we have the brand new controversial film, Civil War, that has a lot to say.
Yeah, it has a lot to say, and it mirrors reality, doesn't it? It
It sure does.
it really feels like this could pop off at any moment. Just from the constant media that we're bombarded with, pitting our neighbors against each other. You could see something like this happening. What would it take to kick off? That's really the question here, but definitely feels plausible and set inside a dystopian, kind of future, I guess, but it feels like the present almost, what it could escalate into, the politics and all that stuff with the government control. But this movie really is about following these journalists, these war photographers. Lee Smith, played by Kirsten Dunst, and then you have her partner Joel, who's a Reuters journalist, played by Wagner, Moura, who starred as back in the day on Narcos as Uncle Pablo himself. So they're a team, and they're headed to DC. And along the way, they're going to, write about what they see and take photographs along the way. And they're going to be embedded with the military, basically. And their ultimate goal is to make it to interview the president and be able to talk to him. So they have to go there. But basically, yeah, the reality on the ground is it's the government and the people are fighting against each other. And we have the president kind of holed up in the White House. And then you have all the citizens forming factions along the way and fighting with each other. And as they're driving across the country, they run into different factions of people.
They run into a lot of characters, and this really is close to reality right now. What's going on, especially election year, a lot of stuff going on that we're seeing every day, Midwest, West, South, everywhere. People are going to start going at each other, neighbors, friends, family. It's going to be crazy. And this is really, it's supposed to be futuristic, but it feels like it's happening right now in certain ways. And I think that's Alex Garland, as director, is trying to say with this movie. Has a lot to say, a lot of social commentary, which really got attached to. And I thought the characters are very interesting. He loves working with Nick Offerman. Nick Offerman plays the president. Of course, he was in Devs as well. Kirsten Dunst plays Lee, as you were saying. And Jefferson White, one of our good mates from Yellowstone, shows up as Dave. And a bunch of other characters show up along the way. But, journalists, photographers are seeing these, gruesome deaths, people shooting one another and like getting right like next to the shooters and stuff like that. And almost getting in the line of fire, almost getting shot and stuff like that. They're really risking their lives to catch and document what's going on in the U.S.
Yeah, I liked the way that he filmed this and the viewpoint that we're seeing this film through. He could have just went at it through the political side and like talked about why they're fighting, but he really doesn't here. He just kind of does it through the viewpoint of these journalists and these photographers and what they come across the way. There's not a lot of like talk about why or when or anything. It doesn't really get political. It doesn't give you the bad guy. It just presents the realities that they come across, and you see all different walks of life. You see the Proud Boy type. You see just people looting. There's all sorts of different factions going at each other. They come up against the military group there with Jesse Plemons, who we remember seeing from the trailer there. He's got the red shades on,
Yeah.
and he asks him, "What side are you on?" You know, those moments in the film like really made this film for me and made it feel real. Like you could imagine these situations playing out, and the bodies hanging from the ropes, and people being held hostage and stuff like that. It could be scary, and seeing all the vehicles scattered all over the highways, them having to get around it, and bullets flying around them as they're taking pictures. It's really them in the thick of this civil war. But yeah, like you mentioned, a lot of great actors in this. um, Kaylee Spaney,
Yes.
who's like blowing up lately, showed up in this, and this was like one of the first times that I've seen her. I can't remember. I'd probably seen
Priscilla.
her in a movie or two. Priscilla, yeah, I haven't seen that yet, but I know that she's got a lot of praise for that work, and she showed up in this, and I was impressed with her. She played this like young character.
She looks up to Lee, as because Lee is this established photographer known around the world, and she looks up to her, and of course working alongside Lee with everything going on, everything they're photographing, and Lee looks down at Jesse's like, yeah, you got something special, like you have talents, like much like Lee when she was younger. So she's kind of,
Hmm.
Lee's like a mentor to Jesse in this movie in certain ways.
Yeah, she's definitely a mentor, but that at the same time she realizes how dangerous this is and doesn't want to put her in danger. And then, her suspicions, prove true as she kind of wanders off and gets trapped in some crazy situations. And then of course what happens at the very end too, not to spoil anything. But yeah, this movie has a lot to say without like outright saying it. It just shows you really. It shows you from the viewpoint of these journalists through photographs and through being with these embedded journalists along the way. Really loved Kirsten Dunst and Wagner Moura together. They were a great team. They felt really authentic, like they were real journalists and real photographers, like they've been doing this and working for, rooters, like Joel's character was. Just felt really real. Nick Offerman's the president. He had a little part in the beginning and he doesn't show up again towards the end, but yeah, I know he'd worked with Garland before, and just a lot of the crazy people that we met along the way. We saw Nelson Lee playing Tony, who was somebody that Joel knew from the past, and he shows up, and some crazy things happen. And also along the journey, they come across um, the actor Stephen McKinley Henderson. He plays the character of Sammy, and he's like the elder respected journalist, and he tags along with them too. So it's basically these four characters riding together, and whenever they come across a certain situation, they're kind of always able to talk through it and like find the best way to like approach the situation. You have the older guy who's been through it all, and then you have Lee and Joel, and then you have the girl. So it's feels very much like you're traveling along with them too, the way that this was shot. And there's a lot of awesome scenes that keep you on the edge of your seat throughout the film.
Yeah, I was actually impressed with this movie. I went in with low expectations. A lot of people were hating on this movie, and I thought it was impressive. A much better film than this last one. Alex Garland did a great job directing this movie. Had a lot to say, some really great situations and things that are, going on in the world today. And I thought the characters had a lot to say in this, the photographers, everything wrong going on in the world. And it really had something to say here. Kirsten Dunst is very impressive. I haven't seen her in a movie in some time. Good seeing her again. And of course, Kaylee Spaney was really great as the young Jesse, young photographer. Jesse Plemons had a small part, but I thought he was really scary. And his scene as a soldier, like very realistic, and yeah, it was scary. And what happens to some of the characters in this, but leading up until the end, if you're looking for a good flick, A24 does no wrong in my books. So that being said, I'm going to give Civil War, I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5 Jesse Plemons hair pieces.
This was a film that, exceeded my expectations too. I think a lot of people maybe were thrown off because they were expecting like a straight war film, where really the last maybe like 5-10 minutes of it give you some glimpses of like straight war. But overall, yeah, this is like just coming across post-apocalyptic, kind of a dystopian future where the citizens are battling and they're fighting against the government. It feels very relevant, has a lot to say. Some great performances, like you mentioned, Kirsten Dunst, Wagner, Moura, Kaylee Spaney. They all did fantastic jobs here. And I too recommend this. And I am going to give Civil War, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 A24 hair pieces.
I want to hear from all you wild soldiers out there. What did you like about Civil War? What didn't you like about it? What's your favorite Alex Garland film? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, check out these wild rascals on Facebook, X, and Instagram, and our website, Cinephellas.com, for the latest, greatest TV movie news and reviews.
Let's see what he does next. I know he's mentioned retiring.
I was reading that, and I'm like, no.
But I do know he's going to be involved in the 28 Years Later saga. So I'm definitely interested in that and seeing him work again with Danny Boyle.
Yes.
So
I'm
yeah,
super excited
so
about that.
he kind of hopped right into that. So that's exciting. So he's not going to retire anytime soon. I think, working with that cast and Cillian Murphy again and being in that world, it's going to be pretty awesome to see. But yeah, definitely was surprised with this one and happy with how it turned out. It's definitely a movie you want to check out, especially this year, ramping up into the election season. Doesn't pick any sides either. That's what I enjoyed. It doesn't shove anything in your face. Lets you watch it and kind of take from it as you will. So, with that being said, thank you for watching our review of Civil War. And until the next Cinephellas movie review, I'm Uncle Henry Plemons.
And I'm Uncle Logan Garland signing out till the next movie review. Cheers!